Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Fallen here for Sputnik Entertainment, and I'm back in front of a camera because I want to talk to you guys once again about Mercari. Now, I thought I would be done talking about that platform for numerous reasons. The main one is that because I made several videos about it, I made reasons why you should sell on Mercari, why you should not sell on Mercari, final Mercari thoughts and opinions. And sadly, I have to sit in front of the camera and talk to you guys once again why you should potentially think about if you want to do business with Mercari as a buyer or a seller. Now, I know that the videos that we have made on Mercari have been seen by Mercari staff. We have sources that told us that. I know that we have reached out to them several times about resolving these issues with no luck. Now, I get it. We're living in very strange times that it might take a little bit of while to have any sort of support or communication, especially when you deal with companies and businesses that are oftentimes feeling very overwhelmed. Well, it's been quite some time and still no response, but maybe after this we're going to have some sort of a communication. And I'll tell you what happened. So just before I do so, I'll give you a little bit of background. I've been in online selling business for over 5 or 6 years now. I've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of products. I sold on all top marketplaces, Amazon, eBay, maintained a very high rating over a period of years that I have sold on them. I even sold on my own website for a period of time. So to some extent, I know what I'm talking about. At least I like to say so. And like I said, I believe Mercari was a good alternative to eBay and Amazon that are dominating the online e-commerce space. And a lot of people think Mercari is a great introduction to online selling, and for kids, adults, families that are trying to buy and sell, maybe start a small online business. And I agree with that. But we live in a very democratic society, especially when it comes to things online and who we do business with, who we shop from, who we have business relationship with, what services we use, what services we don't. And when a company does something that is bad for the consumers or bad for the environment in any way or bad in general, money talks. At least that's how I like to think about it, is that if we're not happy with a way a company does its business, the best way to potentially create a change is by taking money away from them. That has previously done with other companies before, but I digress. So I get it, we're living in very strenuous times, and there's a lot of packages being sent on any given day. Now, like I said, I've been in this online shipping and e-commerce business for 6 years or so. I've sold through all different market conditions. I've sold in holiday times where there's hundreds of thousands of packages being sent across the world to prepare for the holiday times. So I know what kind of infrastructure goes into the shipping business. I have very close relationships with USPS and their business department, and they agree with me that what's going on right now in the world has never seen before. And a lot of people are still in lockdown, and due to that, a lot of people are shopping online or sending packages to their friends and family, and that is creating a lot of additional stress on USPS or other postal services. And a lot of employees of those companies are also out sick or have taken time off to prevent themselves from being sick. So that also on top of everything else creates additional stress on the system. And due to that, it creates a lot of delays, it creates a lot of congestions. Sometimes packages get lost, there's mistakes are made. But to some extent, Mercari has taken very hands-off approach when it comes to supporting their sellers. And I feel like that to be the case in many ways. I do like some of the tools that they have for their sellers to promote their listings, to help them sell, to help them ship, but to protect their sellers, especially when it comes to their financial security and the money being potentially lost, they do very little to do so. Now, personally, I have lost thousands of dollars worth of product due to Mercari issues and due to Mercari mistakes. Now, although I was able to rectify some of the situations because I have some experience in selling and I had some protective measures in place, some of those mistakes could not be fixed, and Mercari did nothing to help the sellers. I feel like they want to take you 10%. They have their platform and they close their eyes and they're like, okay, if there's any sort of issues, we'll just side with the buyers and that's it. And it's very disappointing. It's because I feel like for people who are new to selling, especially if they're trying to sell in very difficult times, as I made many videos about that, I think the importance of creating secondary sources of income and passive source of income are very important nowadays. So a lot of people do resort to having sell their personal belongings or start their online business. And if there's issues that happen in the postal service or during the mailing and delivery process, if they are not trained how to handle those situations, they could be even financially worse because they could be out of the product and out of the money. What do you do then, Mercari? I know I sound angry, and I am, but I feel like I said I have responsibility to the audience because, like I said, I get messages oftentimes because the people make purchases based on things I talk about. They try out products because we have reviewed them or talked about them. They don't try out certain products because we have had not the best reviews about certain products and services out there. So I feel like I have a responsibility to notify our audience as especially time progresses and as we grow about things that are not right, because I don't want them to think that, hey, everything is peachy keen and Mercari is doing an amazing job. Well, Mercari does not have a valid customer support phone number. Mercari does not answer their customer support emails. Mercari has a very poor communication on social media when it comes to requests and support. I can say those things confidently because we've tried to have those approaches, but I digress. Let's talk about a situation that has happened, and this is not the first time we have had this issue in Mercari. So, portion of what we sell is books and DVDs. Now, if you have been familiar with online selling and buying space, or if you're running e-commerce or you know anything about e-commerce, oftentimes when it comes to media items, you do not have the biggest profit margins that you're dealing with. So oftentimes you result in shipping things via media mail, which is USPS cheapest way of mailing media, and that is pretty much the only things you can sell or mail that way. Books, DVDs, CDs, I believe maybe a few different things, but it's very limited category because it's the literally cheapest thing on the planet. You could ship a 10-15 pound book for a couple bucks versus normal ground mail will set you back maybe $20. These are numbers I'm making up from the top of my head, but you guys get the idea. But it is also the slowest system of mailing through USPS because they are not making a lot of money, and they need to kind of slow it down. So even in normal times, media mail can take a couple of weeks to deliver across the country. Now with everything I have talked about, what's going on in the world, it could take even up to 3 weeks to deliver. And there's a lot of amazing people that are very understanding of what's going on in the world. They want their sellers to be safe, and they just want their item to arrive at one point or another. And I'm really appreciative to those customers that oftentimes check up on us, make sure that we're being safe, we're being well, that they're being understanding of what's going on in the world. But there's a few bad eggs every once in a while that still think that we're living in 2-day Amazon or 1-day even Amazon Prime environment, which to those individuals I would like to say we're not. I would appreciate if you would be more understanding of what is going on behind the scenes when you place an order. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, and I can't have a lot of frustrations towards those individuals because it's not their business to know what's happening behind the scenes. But where I think I'm kind of a little bit driven over the edge, if maybe you can tell by the vibe of this video, is that Mercari's protection towards its sellers. Now, Mercari has great tools for sellers to promote their listings. Well, they have those tools so Mercari can make their 10% across all listings. Now, I talked to you guys before how I think it's actually really good tools. I wish they had those tools on other selling platforms. But that's what makes Mercari different, is that having that option to promote listings. They do a lot of email marketing, etc. But once again, their business is to help you sell your things so they can collect the 10%, and that's how they make 99.99999% of their money. Well, like I mentioned to you guys before, Mercari has very poor communication tools to helping sellers deal with frustrating times or if something goes wrong. They don't have a support form. They don't have some sort of communication methodology if a ticket is open, like you might see on eBay, is that you have a way to communicate with the buyer, to explain them what's going on, to help them figure out where their package is. There's no phone number for you to speak with Mercari staff to kind of, in a way, play broken telephone to pass on a message to the seller. There's no way to extend of what's going on. And sadly, Mercari is doing very limited research into these situations. I get it, a lot of it is automated. They cannot sit through every single listing and contact each seller and say, hey, what's going on with this order? The buyer wants to know. Well, sometimes they do that, and there's no great way to communicate with the buyer or Mercari to pass on what's going on. Trust me, that has happened to us before. Well, to give you guys an example, we have shipped out a Dunkirk DVD. It's a film a while back, and it was sold for $5. So we sold it for $5. It was, I believe, $2.80 or $2.70, something like that for shipping. Roughly, after if you calculate the packaging, everything else, you're like left with $1.50 on the sale after the Mercari fees, after everything. It's not the biggest profit margins you deal with, but sometimes when you're shipping in bulk quantities, you are able to sustain a business. Well, you cannot sustain a business when you're dealing with situations where Mercari does not protect its sellers. So we sold that DVD a while back. We provided the tracking number to the buyers, and kind of we didn't keep track of it. I'm sure it's moving through the postal system somewhere. And earlier this evening, we received an email saying, we have canceled your transaction for Dunkirk DVD sale. Item name, Dunkirk DVD sale. They have an item number, the price, buyer, goodies in my closet. Hi, our username. It appears your item has been lost in transit. So we have canceled the transaction and issued a refund to your buyer. Oh, great. Please work with your shipping provider as they can help you locate your item or file a claim for the lost package. Thank you for your understanding, Team Mercari. Well, Mercari, I don't understand, because media mail does not have any sort of protections. Media mail, this is why you're shipping an item for a couple of dollars and it gets to across the country. They're not going to give you insurance. You're not going to buy an insurance on a $5 DVD as well. So I do not know why they're functioning this way. And I just thought that for people who are considering selling on Mercari, and especially like I said, if you're a new seller, please keep that in mind. Because as of right now, Mercari is doing a very bad job on helping customers, especially on the seller side, with any sort of issues comes up. Now, Mercari staff was out for a little bit with their instant withdrawal program a few months ago, so they fully stopped that. So when it comes to their services and how they're working with sellers, once again, it's everything on their terms. And I get it, we're just a kind of peg in a wheel of online commerce. Like, Mercari can do whatever Mercari wants to do. But I just thought I would let you guys know of what happens and how Mercari handles these kind of situations. And for anybody in Mercari who might watch this video, and once again, I know that Mercari staff has seen our previous reviews of their platform. We would love to have a formal communication with you guys. I know that we're not the biggest sellers, but I know at the same time you guys enjoy taking our 10% off. And like I said, we have had a lot of issues dealing with some situations that have came up in the past few months. And those issues would have not come up under normal circumstances. But keep in mind, 2020 has not been a normal year whatsoever on many fronts. A lot of businesses have to adapt. There's a lot of change and evolution happening in the world. And it's sad because once again, there's a lot of people that might be using Mercari as beginner selling platform. And although we were a little bit experienced how to handle some of these situations, I hate to say it, but Mercari has the worst customer support when it comes to their seller protection. And I hate to be negative, but I feel like it's my job and my responsibility to make people aware of an issue with a platform, especially the platform that we have talked about before, that in a way we talked about the good things, the bad things, our overall impressions. So to some extent, we have made a lot of videos of Mercari. So a lot of people might think that, hey, Mercari might be a great option because they're making a lot of videos on them. Well, I'm very disappointed with them at this point in time. I hope they fix their issues in the near future. I hope they have better communication and support for their sellers. Because keep in mind, Mercari, you don't exist without your sellers. And sellers have other options, and we have made plenty of videos on other alternatives. Yes, some of them are kooky and different and don't have a lot of traffic, but some of them are big ones, like Bonanza, eBay, Amazon, Poshmark, that have lots of traffic on a daily basis. So if you do not change, I think customers will understand over time. Sorry guys, it's a bit of a serious video, and I feel like I was speaking with Mercari halfway through. Let me know if you had any issues with Mercari from a seller perspective, from a buyer perspective. Leave them in the comment section of this video. And once again, if we do have any sort of formal communication with Mercari about addressing issues, we'll definitely address your concerns as well. So if they could be the same, they could be different, because we want Mercari to succeed. I think Mercari is a great platform on many fronts, but there's a lot of issues that should be addressed if people will continue using it. If you guys think I'm 100% wrong in this, let me know. I would, like I said, I would love to hear why you guys think I'm wrong. If you guys agree, once again, let me know and share some of your selling experiences with Mercari. I heard about people losing tens of thousands of dollars on the platform, and I heard great success stories as well. If you want to stay in touch with me on social, all the social links are in the description of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.